Hey, it's Friday afternoon, late afternoon, starting to get dark outside here. We're past mid-January, heading on to into what I would consider late January, which kind of concerns me because I don't have a lot on the books right now. So if anybody's looking for anything really cool and beautiful and expensive, let me know because I will be so happy to give you something, to do something specifically for you. It will make you happy. I usually talk about, okay, first off, I'm not doing music today because I'm tired of always having to film in the piano room, but I want to keep filming. And I don't think that the music thing isn't quite working the way I wanted it to be. You have tons of videos of me on YouTube playing songs just with my hands, playing them. You hear them. They're performed rather correctly and rather beautifully. So I don't think that doing this right here is making much of a difference or really adding anything to it. I think the talking parts are the parts that I enjoy most, and this is about my enjoyment. And if you get some along the way, that's good too. Now let's see if you enjoy this. This is my hat chat for today. See, I'm totally fine going like this. It's just that I have to keep the sun off this noggin. I'm not scared to let the world know that I am a big bald person. Bald as a billiard ball on top. So this is the hat for today's discussion. I know what you're thinking. Either your grandmother was a big-time style maven and that was her hat, or possibly that it was purchased at an auction of costumes at MGM and was worn in either Letty Linton by Joan Crawford or Nanochka by Greta Garbo. And you would be wrong, because it is not a hat at all. It is what most of you probably thought it might be, but it's not the kind you think. It is a tiny little corset. But it is a corset for a little 9-year-old boy who needs to knock off about 15 pounds. When I was in the third grade, I was I was pretty normal in the third grade, and I might have picked up a little bit of a paunch, as some kids do, because, honey, we were basically just chopping off big hanks of Velveeta and slapping it between Zesta crackers and eating it all day long. Just ate horrible food when we were growing up. But, it was just things like cheese doodles and bugles. Bugles. They still make the bugles. Very corny deliciousness. Anyway, I brought my fourth grade pictures home. And they took fourth grade pictures. You got those relatively early in the year. And I walked into my mom's shop and I said, "We got our pictures, Mom." And she said, "Well, how are they?" I said, "I don't think it's very good." And she looked at it and she went, "Oh, honey, I am so sorry. I have really let you down." I said, "Well, no, Mama, you haven't let me down. How'd you let me down?" She said, "I let you down because I let you get this fat. It just breaks my heart to see this fat." Because I didn't realize it until I saw this picture, but it was like a slap in the face. You are busting right out of your new school clothes that I just got you in September. Look, those pants are cutting you in two. You can't wait when you get home in the afternoon to unbutton your pants, go change into your play clothes again, or maybe even put your pajamas on. We're going to do something. We're going to do something. So she said, "There's this thing called Weight Watchers. We're going to do it." I said, okay, Mom. Okay, we'll do that. She said, "It should be pretty easy. You just have to alter some of your eating habits and just eat better foods in smaller quantities. It'll be fine." Weight Watchers in 1971 in Bloomfield, Kentucky was nothing more than a little booklet that was not much more than a pamphlet. It just had lists of foods that you could eat and lists of and how many calories and like how the amount to serve a person. And you got this little weird plastic scale to weigh your food on. It was a good thing, but very early primitive Weight Watchers. At least what Mom read about it and what I was presented, it was so sucky. Breakfast was okay. You got one poached egg and you got one slice of toast. No butter. And no milk. You could drink black coffee or tea or water. And then for lunch, I'd have to take my lunch. And that was the best one of the whole meals. And she just did it every day because it was easy and I could do it. It was one slice of toasted bread, and upon it there was one slice of American cheese, just put under the broiler long enough to melt the cheese, and then you got that, one small apple, and you'd have to drink water because you couldn't drink the milk at school. And so the supper time sucked hardest and worst because you ate those little bits of food earlier in the day. You are so famished when you get home, and you've had a habit, as we had a habit every day. First off, first through third grades at least, if we would take like a bag of potato chips or a zinger or cupcake or something to school with us every day, even if we were getting the school lunch, because you needed a really good, salty, fatty snack for your recess time that you could eat in the gym. And then we would stop at the store on the way home, and we were allowed to charge up to 25 cents a piece on any given day after school at that time, and that was either it was like an RC or a Pepsi or Coke. It was a soft drink out of the machine, out of a bottle. But it was also either a bag of chips or a Dolly Madison snack cake treat. That's what you could get for that quarter back then. And I would do that and then go home and eat delicious meals of like salmon croquettes or fried chicken with mashed potatoes and like a nice little white sauce and maybe some cream peas and some, just good simple American food like that, okay? Or maybe some cabbage casserole with Velveeta cheese in it, right? That's normal food. No, I had to go home and eat the worst supper imaginable. I don't remember what all the choices were, but the two that I remember most were the most repulsive. One was fish, and Mom said, "Honey, you love fish. You've always just loved fish. You love kingfish. It's your favorite place to go. You did." And I was like, "Well, yeah, I do." And she goes, "Well, I've worked very hard, and it's not like what you're used to, but you're going to love this. It was high quality cod. Cost more than your fish squares. This is good stuff here." And so she just take the piece of fish, put it under the broiler, pull it out. No butter, no lemon. I don't think we even heard of lemons back then in Bloomfield. I think maybe you had one of those squeezy lemons out of fake stuff or something. But no, it was just presented like that. I'm like, I got to have something with it. Just all you're allowed is ketchup. That's your only condiment on anything. I was like, it makes no sense to me, but I'll take it. Put it on the fish, not appetizing. But I made my way through and picked the skin off of it that I had never experienced. It was like, it's not my fish experience. Okay, but you know what? And the alternative to that was a big old piece of broiled calf's liver. Just a big, gray, slimy slab of liver that had just been put under the broiler, because evidently everything that you ate either had to be poached or put under the broiler, okay? So it was a big, shiny, gray hump of something. It was just like, and so I said, "Well, what can I put on this?" And Mom said, "Well, And I was like, "But could it?" And when I put it on there, then I really wanted to gag, because then it looked like it was gray. It was kind of like gunmetal gray with blood on it. It was just real attractive. And it tasted like unflavored, unonioned, unfried liver. It was disgusting. It was just disgusting. But I lost some weight and everything was good. And then, my whole life just up and down and up and down and up and down and way too thin. And then, too much, way too fat. And I've gotten really fat in my old age here. I have done it. I've done it a couple times. I remained slim enough. I talked to an old boyfriend of mine who said, "Oh my God, I look back at pictures of you. You were a living doll, and I thought you were huge. I thought you were just enormous." Look at the pictures. I really wasn't. I wasn't fat. I just, whatever. Anyway, when I got sober, clean and sober. I am 37 years clean and sober. And when I got sober, my friends who were telling me how to live my life now said, "Do not deny yourself sugar when you have a craving, because you were taking in so much sugar when you were drinking that you weren't aware of it, and you need that sugar, and you can just anything that will keep you from drinking." And so I was like, hell yeah, pie. I had never liked sweets. I mean, I'd liked them. They were always like, well, maybe I'll have some later. But I mean, telling you, I was ravenous for sweets. And I mean, the richer it was, the more I had. I had a reprieve from God for a year about my weight. Because I'll tell you something. I got sober in March. And by like June, I was like thinner than I had ever been. I weighed 131 pounds. And when it was the first time in my life that I ever put a size 30 pant on at McAlpin's, and it was too big. And I had 29, which I relished. And for a year, it was 29, 30, no matter what. And I could just eat mounds of anything I wanted. And I did subsist on stupid junk because like income was sporadic and weird. And sometimes some 15-cent pack of cookies from Hume's Grocery around the corner were sufficient to get through that day. But anyway, in the end, I end up fat. But my friends and I, who have battled our weight all of our lives on and off, we have, and I see it this way, we have a feeling that we have maintained somewhat a bit of, like, I don't know, there has been some control. I lost 80 pounds year before the last, and I gained 30 of it back. 30. But I'm still not as big as I was, and whatever, I will go back to whatever. I will always be having a challenge of food, and people will always be having that. And then I was so lucky to make dear friends of teachers I had in school. Not necessarily, you're friends with but we're talking to high school teachers, when you were developing. And like one of them who's gone now, her name was Susie. She was so funny and so bright and so like a character off of a sitcom. She was fantastic and funny as hell, which was the most important thing to me. But she told me when I was just like 17, and she was always following nails, and she said, honey, listen, don't sweat it. You're on the edge. You're like me. You're on the edge, and you're always going to be on the edge. But you're always going to make it through just in the nick of time. And you're just going to get that dollar in just at the nick of time. But just do not expect that you're never going to be on the edge because, baby, you were born on the edge, and we must remain on the edge. And I have thought of that so frequently in life because it doesn't look like I'm on the edge here, but I am teetering here. Things are weird in the world. Things are weird in Hollywood. Things are weirder to me, though, back in Kentucky than they are here in Hollywood. Anyway, I didn't have much to talk about today, so I just thought I would show you that. Also in the secret hiding place, just to show you. Okay, I found 2 of these. These were bedspreads that my mother bought in bulk in order to design my coolest Mod Squad room when I was 9 years old. And it had one of those fluffy blue rugs on it. And she bought very expensive wallpaper that was blue, green, black, and metallic gold snake print. It was gorgeous. It looked like something from Robert Evans's house in Beverly Hills. It was super like macho 70s, like super cool. So I could have the black lights, even though the black light I got was not very good. It was just a black light bulb in another fixture, like black light, ordered out of a catalog. Never got a good black light, but it was dark and cool over there. And then later, when my taste developed, honey, I had I don't know how many of these. It was like I had 6 of them. There was a time when I used it as a bedspread, but also made bed curtains out of it because I liked that old-fashioned teaster bed look and very stately, and I made draperies out of it for all my windows. And they were all just piecemeal, but it looked good, and when people came in, they'd be like, you got a lot of style. And I was like, yeah, I do. I'm going to do something that incorporates that style when I go out into the real world. And they're like, yeah, dream on, nerd. And here I am. All these years later, sitting in my house in Hollywood, California, a mere stone's throw from the Dolby Theater where the Hollywood presents its Oscars to the movie stars. That's literally like 2 blocks from my house. A 10-minute walk that way will put me right up there in front of it. And I am semi-retired from a career during which I only earned my living as a professional artist of one sort or another, and there is no stretching that, none. I started my career as a fashion illustrator and a window decorator, and then I went out to be a scenic painter for interior designers and worked myself as an interior decorator until I was good enough that I could actually consider myself an interior designer, because I can. Because you know what? An interior decorator chooses. An interior designer decides this room needs to be lifted higher visually. We're going to create this and that. We're going to do this. We're going to create this mantelpiece that I have dreamed up in my head, and you're going to do it. That to me is being a designer. That right there. Plus all of the I don't like doing that stuff, because if you've got a real I hate having to send. Oh, I do not approve. I will wait for the next color lot to come out. I hated that stuff, and I'm glad to get rid of it. But anyway, what I'm basically saying is, here I am wearing my little girdle hat in Hollywood, California, and look at the beauty of my surroundings, where I choose to live and work. I'm okay today. Things are shitty to everybody, but I'm okay today. And I will see you maybe tomorrow, which will be Saturday. And I finished my painting, and now I'm looking for more work to do. So I should work on the house, but I don't want to do that. I want to work on new work. I want a new project to be here in front of me. In the meantime, I'm going to paint some little things in the studio. I'm going to try. And I'll put them up for sale. Man, they won't cost like $15,000 or anything. They won't be like the ones that like I will be known for at the end of time. Nor will they be a $20 picture of your niece on the back of a paper plate. That's not happening. You go to State Fair to get stuff like that. I have to charge a few $100s for what I do, because I'm very good at it, and it's my career. And people like it. People like it. I like you. Some of you I love, but don't really like everything that's going on. But you know what? It ain't none of my business. Any more than my wearing this girdle on my head is any of your business. I'm going to take this off now, though. Look, wasn't he a handsome chap? He had no hair on top of his head. It all fell out. But he was a handsome man.